What's up everybody, I'm Ken Jack from Lights Camera Barstool, and I'm going to give you 10 movies and 3 shows that you should stream. Let's start out with Shot Caller on Netflix. It stars Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who you may better know as Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. It has Jon Bernthal, Jeffrey Donovan, a whole big cast. They're all great. It's sort of crime, prison, drama, redemption story, some great fights, some great drama, and a lot of suspense. Next up is Death of Stalin, also on Netflix. Not only is Death of Stalin one of my favorite black comedies ever, it is my number 51 best movie of all time according to MovieRankings.net. This movie comes from the same guy who did Veep, so if you like that sort of style of comedy, you'll really enjoy Death of Stalin. It's witty, it's sharp, it's funny, it's got killer performances across the board. I think you're gonna love it.
I'm gonna have to report this conversation. Threatening to do harm or obstruct any member of the Presidium in the process of looking at your face. Nikita Khrushchev, you balls like Kremlin domes, right?
Stop, be serious.
Next up is The Lord of the Rings Return of the King Extended Edition on HBO Max. The Lord of the Rings is the greatest film trilogy of all time. Period. Full stop. The extended editions are even better, but they've usually been behind this sort of paywall of a box set that you have to pay $100 for, and no one really has time or money for that. But now you can get 1/3 of this extended edition trilogy right at your fingertips on HBO Max. Next up is Spirited Away on HBO Max. If you ask me, it's the greatest Studio G movie ever made. It's one of the greatest animated movies ever made, period. And I think it's just must watch for anyone who calls himself a fan of good movies. It's colorful, it's beautiful, it's a fantastic story that's great for all ages, and it's a movie you should really devote some time to watch. Next up is the series Barry on HBO Max. HBO is a network obviously well known for making a lot of great shows, but Barry is already near the upper echelon, tier 1 of HBO shows for me. Bill Hader is absolutely fantastic. There's so many great characters in it. NoHo Hank is definitely one of the best tertiary characters I've ever seen, ever, period, on TV.
Well, what do you want me to do? Go to John Wick Assassin Hotel with Help Wanted sign? I mean, what?
You got good guys right here, man.
Oh my God, my guys suck balls, you know it. Especially this motherfucker right here.
If I suck balls, you are king of suck balls mountain.
Shut the fuck up.
Ah!
It's got comedy, it's got drama, it's got action, it's got everything you could ever want out of a television show, and it's just shot really well, like almost like a movie well. Next up is Happy Gilmore on HBO Max. Happy Gilmore is comfort food. It's a big, juicy, greasy cheeseburger with all the fixins, an extra large fry on the side, and a big extra large soft drink that's just loaded with ice, way too much ice. Next up is Nomadland on Hulu. Nomadland obviously did very well in the Globes. They cleaned up really, and they're gonna do really well in a lot more award shows, and it's directed by Chloe Zhao, who's going to be directing The Eternals coming up for Marvel. It is more than worth your time. It's a great story, super authentic, and very, I would say, heart-touching. Not heartwarming, it's gonna touch your feelings. Next up is The Nice Guys, also on Hulu. It's very hard for me to scroll past The Nice Guys and not recommend it, because I do honestly think it's one of the funnier movies I've seen in the last 10 years. Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling have incredible chemistry, which makes this movie, which would already be great, even better. Next up is the series Superstore on Hulu. Superstore may be one of the more underrated sitcoms running right now, and I'm not sure why that is. It's super funny, it's very smart, there's a lot of side characters that are absolutely hilarious, and if you work in retail now or you've worked in retail before like I have, it makes it extra special. Next up is Inside Llewyn Davis on Amazon Prime Video. Doesn't matter if you're a fan of the Coen brothers, or if you're just a fan of Oscar Isaac, or you're a fan of good music movies, this should be on your watch list. It's a fantastic story, it's incredibly well acted across the board, and it really keeps you engaged throughout it. Next up is the show Patriot on Prime Video. This show really snuck up on me in the best way possible. It's a little bit long-winded sometimes, but I think the humor is absolutely spot on. It's very dry. It almost is as if you like In Bruges, it's almost like if In Bruges just stretched out a little bit. Next up is Free Solo on Disney+. People kind of sleep on the Nat Geo catalog in Disney+, and they really shouldn't. Free Solo is a movie that had me absolutely gripped to my seat from start to finish. It might be because I'm horribly afraid of heights, but I'm sweating through my hands even just thinking about what Alex Honnold did in that movie. If you're a fan of good documentaries, if you're a fan of man vs. nature, or really just a fan of watching miracles happen before your eyes, I honestly think you will really like this documentary. And lastly, WandaVision on Disney+. The final episode of this just aired, and you can go watch our breakdown of it on our YouTube page. Without spoiling, it is a show that is very different from anything Marvel has done before in a very good way. It's weird, it's freaky, it's enthralling, and it keeps you guessing from start to finish. That's all for today, but you can also go down to the link in our description to see a full list of 24 movies and 6 shows that I recommend you stream. And as always, you can go to MovieRankings.net to see my score for the, I think, almost 5,000 now movies we have cataloged there. You can also use the filter tool or the randomizer tool to find out what to watch and where to watch it. Until then, I'm Ken Jack. See you next time.